force?
Army, I was good if I'm Mike, a human intelligence collector, which is just a nice way of saying interrogator.
You were an interrogator in Iraq.
Yes.
That's a tough business, I suspect. And you were there for how long?
I was there for 3 months. I went with
12 minutes to end the
Special
show.
Operations Command, and they only had
Standard
3
timings for this sequence.
So you were there deployed for 3 months, and you just got back when?
I got back in early 2009, but I got in the Army June 7th.
June 7th of this year.
Yes.
And you're from Alaska?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you decided to leave Alaska and join Occupy DC, is that right?
Yes.
Why?
Well, pretty much there are certain men who are in power and certain men who are in the corporate world who personally profit off my friends being in Afghanistan and Iraq, and that's wrong.
And if you don't mind my asking, do you have a place to live in DC?
No, I sleep in McPherson Square.
You sleep in McPherson Square with the other Occupy DC.
Yes.
Now, you were a witness not to the accidents, but to the aftermath of the
Yes.
accident. Tell me what you saw.
Well, pretty much I ran to
And I shouldn't say accidents, by the way, because it
Yeah.
seems to me it was intentional. So I have to watch using that
Yeah.
word.
It
When a
gets-
guy guns down not one, but two groups of people, I'm at least very confident saying it wasn't an accident. So you saw two incidents.
At the end of the
Yes.
show, we usually go right
After
over here,
the
there's a
incident,
diner.
you saw the police
We
stop
get a
the staff.
hamburger,
Yes.
they get some
And what
good
happened
shake,
was-
good burgers.
A lot of us had
You're more than
already
welcome
stopped
to join
people
us.
as well. I
Sure,
know
that
there was
sounds like
one
a good idea.
protester sitting
I
in
need
front
a
of the
shake.
vehicle.
I'm sorry?
A bunch on the curb, and there was about
Yeah,
three or
you
four
need
of
a
us
shake,
in
huh?
the street.
shake
And
and a
pretty
burger.
much what happened was we were an
jalapeno
officer,
sauce.
you know, we need to arrest this guy. We need to arrest this guy. He just ran over a bunch of people. And
As
the
I was
officer
saying,
pulled out a
again,
mace
we're all
cannon and
volunteers.
said, I'm not effing kidding, get on the effing
We do
curb.
100 live shows a year.
And basically what happened was our live stream.
We're a little
team pulled
nuts.
up, got the officer on our live stream, and then he basically.
Actually, we're a lot of
nerds.
So, in other words, they started filming the police officer,
Yes.
and that persuaded the officer to put his mace cannon back.
Yeah.
Now, did you see people trying to give witness statements to the police?
Yes, I actually called for a mic check and I said,
Now, wait, not everybody knows what a mic check
oh,
is.
okay.
All right, now people who are in the Occupy movement, mic check and hand motions, they know all that stuff. Please explain to people watching, what is a mic check?
A mic check is basically where one person will call a mic check, and then those around him will repeat mic check, and then in short, concise sentences, like 3 to 5 words, he will say, or she will say whatever needs to be said. So I called for a mic check.
So it's kind of like amplifying without a megaphone.
Exactly.
One person speaks, and then 10 or 12 people around that person
A human mic.
become a human microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you called for a mic check, and you said in your mic check,
I said, if you witnessed what happened, please raise your hand. And then about 8 people raised their hand. I talked to an officer, and I said, officer, there's about 8 people who saw what happened. I can get into that street corner over there. Do you want to talk to them? And he just told me to back up, and then pretty much nothing came out.
so that officer
not gonna
wasn't
go
at
over
all
well.
interested in interviewing the 8 witnesses.
He didn't even, he was like, he bowed his head, and then he told me to get on the curb, and then that was pretty much it.
By the way, I should note that this particular thing, because it was filmed, is actually on the Occupy DC website. If you look, this exact incident that Michael Patterson, I don't know if you know, it's on there.
No.
It's described, it's kind of a jerky camera, and it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but if you look between about
Finger on mute,
25
audio
and
mute.
30, you can actually see exactly what Michael Patterson is talking about.
Use your
About
discretion.
25 to 30 minutes in. The reason I'm not playing that on air
There's
is
certain
because there
words.
was 4-letter words by people who were very angry
Yes,
that they were letting
Tell them
out
we'll
a
play with-
guy
with
who
no
just
audio.
plowed into foreigners and people get away. Don't say those words.
No.
So that's why I can't share the video, but certainly people can go and see it for themselves online. So since that time, you were at another meeting today, I guess, the one that I witnessed in front of the DC Police Station.
Yes.
And they are taking witnesses now, apparently.
Yes.
Okay. What's your
When you
feeling
hand them
about
laptops, too,
DC
it's not
Police? Do
really
you think they're
good.
fair in this investigation?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a travesty, just the fact that a bunch of citizens have to march down to a police station and sit outside, and that's how you get the police to do their jobs. And what do I think the police are going to do? I mean, it's hard to say. A lot of the cops are very aggressive there, but there are also a lot of good cops there too. So
I mean, you served in the military, you know there's good and bad people in the military, there's
Yeah.
good and bad
It's
police
okay.
officers.
Your
Let me
call.
ask you, Heidi, this. Of course, you're not from DC, you're from Vidalia, Ohio. You go home tonight, I guess, or tomorrow. So hopefully, despite the fact that some people, Washington were not very welcome, you met a lot of very welcoming
Oh,
people here
absolutely,
as
yeah.
well. So that's
course.
good, on behalf of our fair, city and metropolitan area. The DC Police Chief, however, Chief Lanier, has said that the Occupy DC is no longer peaceful. She says that it's gotten violent. She cites the fact that 5 people were injured. 4, of course, were the people run over by this guy, your family, the 3 of you, and Georgia. The 5th is the woman who I showed the first clip, who unfortunately appears to have been knocked down the stairs by the police themselves, inadvertently. Based on those 5 injuries, what do you think about DC Police Chief Lanier's point?
I think that on our end, it's peaceful. I think that every person that I've met in McPherson Square and at Freedom Plaza has been very friendly. Their message has all been of peace. Certainly our message
6
there
and a
was
half, end of
one
show.
of peace and change and
Standard
to hear our
sequences.
voices heard. If there's any aggression or frustration, I think it might be on the part of people who aren't participating, because they are angry. They have really serious things going on in their lives, foreclosures and bankruptcies and healthcare issues, and so everybody is frustrated. I think now everybody needs to wake up and get in the streets.
6 minutes.
Michael, you
6
served in
minutes.
Iraq. I assume you saw your share of violence there. I don't think so. One of the things you told me when we first met is that when you heard about the car hitting the protesters, your PTSD, your post-traumatic stress
You wanna
syndrome,
talk about a trigger?
kicked in. Well, tell me about that. How did that feel?
Honestly, it was like just a surge of adrenaline, and like I'm honestly surprised I did not do anything drastic, because I was literally having to pace back and forth trying to calm myself down. But at the same time, the police just kept making the whole matter worse. Like,
How did they make it worse?
well, the fact that a cop pulled out a mace can on me, and then a lot.
Didn't use it, but threatened to use it.
Threatened to use a mace can. 2, when people started to get, I mean, you could naturally, they weren't doing their jobs, and naturally people were getting more and more upset. So they started arresting us, and they started.
But they arrested some Occupy DC
Yes,
protesters.
they arrested,
5 minutes,
they
5
arrested
minutes.
3 people.
End of show.
2 were pretty good friends of mine, and the 3rd guy was a photographer who's done an occupation.
Next activity is
He
checklist,
was literally
final checklist
trying
at 2
to
minutes.
Get someone off his bike, and then the cop, he was walking across the street.
Jim, what are you
and
gonna
the
need
cop
for
literally
credits?
Grabbed him, threw his bike down, and then shoved him against the car.
Wait, he's trying to get someone off his bike, someone was taking his bike or
A
something?
cop had pushed somebody, and he fell off his bike, and the guy was trying to help get this guy off his bike.
Get him off so
50?
he'd fallen down on top of
Yeah,
the bike.
and then he's tried to walk across the street, and the cops just grabbed him, snatched him
arrested
up,
him.
and then slammed him against a squad car. And then
Have you heard what happened to him or the other 2
Music
sisters?
at 35.
Yeah,
Chicago?
they got released.
Music, countdown for music
without
at 35, 4,
They
5.
got, well, they had to pay $100.
Q130.
Bail, I think, for failure to obey.
For
They're
failing to
going,
obey.
next
Yeah.
activity after
Now,
your final
again,
checklist
you
will
were
be
trying to
the
get
credits
witness
roll.
statements to the police.
Yes.
And they weren't interested, they were just saying
They
back
were
off.
more interested in trying to antagonize us and trying to get us to do something.
4 minutes.
So they could arrest us.
Now, but the guy in the Lexus was not arrested.
No, he actually, pretty much from the entire time the police got to the Lexus to the time they let him drive away, I saw the whole thing unfold. And they were basically, it looked like they were protecting him.
Did they give him a drunk driving test? Maybe the guy was drunk, make him walk a line?